So I kind of like tried hard today, but honestly, like I feel like I just look like I just came out of the 80s. So look at how cute that shirt is. I love it so much. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So listen, I've been getting a lot of requests to do a study slash tips slash, I'm sorry, I'm really buzzed on caffeine right now. And now that I'm entering finals week, which is when you're gonna see this video, I figured, okay, might as well. But before we get started, I wanted to give you guys like a little backstory as to like kind of like how I became the super studier that I am. But I mean, I'm not a super studier. Anyway, so as many of you might already know, when I was in high school and 95% of my time in college, I didn't try at all. I got straight C's in high school, and I even got some C's and D's in college. And I simply just didn't care. I was going to college for absolutely no reason, and now I have a reason, so now I have reason to be a good student. So when I realized this is what I wanted and this is what I wanted to do, I had to buckle down and learn my study habits and, well, okay, at least get some study habits because I had none for 90% of my life. I would like to think I have some decent study habits that I would like to share with all of you. Here's how I became a roughly 2.0 GPA student, and I currently have a 3.5 right now. So if you're wanting to get a 4.0, you might want to go to a different video because like this ain't it. So here we go. Okay, I'm sorry, pause. I have the attention span of a goldfish, so I was like scrolling through Facebook and I found out that the second years, because I'm considered a first year, the second years in my school got to go to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, and they got to play with dolphins and tigers and help with surgeries. Am I upset? No. Tip number one, I'm sure you guys are really sick of hearing this from me by now, but it is honestly so true. Make to-do lists slash study time lists. It has literally been so helpful for me to organize and see what I need to do rather than cramming everything last minute. For example, last weekend I had 12 things. You heard that right. 12 things, including 2 tests, 2 projects, and 2 papers. The rest were quizzes. I was overwhelmed, and so was majority of my class. However, they decided to wait till the last day to do everything, whereas I spread out everything pretty evenly. So yes, choose when to do homework slash study at a certain time for each class. Give a little bit of time for this class, get a little bit of time for that class. Make your own study habits that you prefer. Tip number 2 is to rewatch your lectures. In this day and age with Zoom, I feel like we got super lucky with being able to have a recorded lectures right then and there. I've been taking full advantage of that, and I feel like a lot of people have as well. So right before a test, right before a quiz, I highly recommend you spread out each lecture and rewatch them. And the nice thing about Zoom is instead of sitting there for 3 to 4 hours like I originally have to because I originally watched the actual Zoom, and then rewatch it after a while when I need to, put it ×2 because it can make it go a lot faster. Also, if you're looking for a certain point in that lecture that you know is going to be up on your next quiz or test, or simply something you have to look for, you can type it in the search bar, and 90% of the time it'll find the subject for you. So instead of watching that whole lecture all over again, you can just find that one part. But I highly recommend you watch the whole lecture all over again and times it by 2 so the time goes by much faster. You could turn a 3-hour lecture into an 1.5-hour lecture and you get the same amount of knowledge, and it's just a refresher, so then you can end up doing really good. And believe me, I do it to a T. Tip number 3 is read slash work ahead. I know, it is super overdone. I used to hear people say this and I literally just wanted to like knock myself out. But honestly, you guys, it is so true how much of a difference it can make. I have quizzes every Monday for 2 of my classes, and they're actually quizzes that are for the chapter we're supposed to read prior to lecture, so I'm kind of forced to read it, and let me tell you, it has made a huge difference in me studying and doing well on tests and understanding the subject and all. So yes, I know how irritating it is, believe me. And if you're lucky like me and have an awesome professor that gives you a study guide on what to focus on for the next test, you can fill that out while you're reading or write it down, whichever you prefer. So by the time of your test, you have already read the chapter and took notes, watched the lecture and took notes around the same thing so you can get a better understanding, rewatch the lecture so you can take even more notes about that certain subject if you missed it the first time. By the time you take the test, you're solid. I think we're on tip 4. I think. So tip number 4, Anki. Enough said. If you have not heard of Anki, literally invest in it. And okay, when I say invest, it's free, but you do have to download it on your laptop. Guys, I can't even begin to tell you. I used it mainly for my anatomy class, and let me tell you, I would not have gotten an A in anatomy if I hadn't used Anki. When it comes to memorizing, jamming stuff in your brain last minute, it works so well. The nice thing about Anki is it gives you a schedule. So when you create a deck, you create the deck, you make the flashcards you need, you go over it day by day by day by day day, little by little, literally until it is engraved in your brain. And the best part is it's free. The only thing that costs money is if you want it on your phone. I just used my laptop because, you know, again, it was free and it was able to do everything that Quizlet Plus would do, only free. So when you need to know something, it gives you a nice set schedule of what you need to review, what you're good at, what can be reviewed on. So when you click a flashcard, let's say you didn't get it right, you want to review it right afterwards, you click again, which it comes back in less than a minute. If you kind of got it, you kind of didn't, but you would really want to review, you can click good, which is the middle one, and it will come back within 10 minutes. And then if you click easy, it'll come back within like 2 days. So if you give yourself at least a week to like go through your Anki cards, review them each day, just refresh your brain, it'll be implanted in your brain. So I'm highly recommend. The 5th tip, tutoring. Get a tutor, you guys. If you have an option to get a tutor, get a tutor. Even if you're doing okay in the class, even if you feel like you understand the concept, just get a tutor. Like I said, I had an A in anatomy 95% of the semester, but did I still go to tutoring? Absolutely, because that is another review session, especially when you are on Zoom like 2 hours a week, and not only is that studying, but it's reviewing, and it's someone who really knows what they're talking about, what you have to take a test on. It's gonna be really helpful. So yes, I do believe it helped. I was in tutoring for anatomy and physiology. I have an A in anatomy and I have a high B in physiology. Did I need tutoring? Probably not. Was it a good review? Yes, it was. If you have time, do tutoring, please. And the last tip I feel like is super overdone as well, and like I feel like I got really annoyed hearing it throughout my college years, but it's true, you guys. So I know how infuriating it sounds when I say remember why you started in the first place. Oh, like it just sounds gross coming out of my mouth because I know how cliche it sounds, but it's true. I would not be working this hard if it is not something that I really wanted. If I decided to go in like human nursing instead, I guarantee I wouldn't be working nearly as hard as I am now, because I mean, this is something that I want. And every time I'm going to school and I see my professor who's a veterinarian working on like the shelter dogs and the kitties and doing all these procedures for them, it just makes me so happy, and it makes me realize why I started doing this in the first place, and it just makes me want to keep going and keep pushing. Despite all the negativity I hear about this field and the job in general, this is something that I really truly want to work towards, and it's really the only thing I could see myself doing. I can't imagine like not helping animals in any way that I possibly can. So yes, as annoying, as ignorant as it sounds, just remember why you want this, and it will push you to keep going, because believe it or not, there are days where I just kind of want to stop and let go because this year has been literally horrible for me, but I don't. I keep going because I know this is what I want, and I know that my life is revolved around animals. So yes, guys, instead of making this like a study video, I decided to make this like a tip video, how to raise your GPA. I am planning on filming during my finals week, so don't worry, I will try to get some tips in there just because I didn't want to make a whole video dedicated to them. So those are my tips for you to do good in school, to help raise your GPA, to help whatever it is your heart desires. But again, this is gonna make me really sick saying it because I feel like it's just super cliche. I'm so sorry. Grades do not define you. I had a huge mental breakdown about a month or two ago for probably many reasons, but I just so happen to have it in front of my professor, the veterinarian, and he told me something that I knew, but it just really resonated coming from him. He said while he was in vet school, he failed 2 classes, so he failed out of vet school and he had to come back, reapply, retake those classes, and what was supposed to be 4 years ended up taking him 6. And he also said that most of his grades were C's, and just because I get A's and B's does not mean I'm gonna pass the VT&E. It does not mean that I'm gonna be a great vet tech. It doesn't mean any of that. What matters is my passion and if I'm good at the job or not, because all this book stuff is just really like not sensible. Don't let a grade define you. Just do your very best and you will get there. And more recently, I've seen comments and I've gotten DMs from you guys, and it's you guys like thanking me and like relating to me about how you never tried in anything and how you don't have a 4.0. It's so nice, and I appreciate you guys, and I'm relatable. I am proof that you can turn your GPA / life goal / drive around. So yes, okay, I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck on finals if you are still a student, and good luck in anything that you are doing at the moment. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.